Coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about the latest Disney news and rumors. That's coming up today on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everyone, to Traveling with the Mouse. Happy Labor Day. And if you're listening to this happy after Labor Day, hopefully you had a happy Labor Day. This is episode 327 of Traveling with the Mouse. Today, I am your host. I am Jason, and I am joined, as always, by two esteemed co-hosts. Today, my first co-host, I'm going to change it up, is John.
Horizons 1 is now departing. Our final destination today, the 21st century.
I know where that's from.
The year 2000.
It's from the Space 220 restaurant.
Well, it's fitting, given that that's going to open. Did I spoil anything?
What?
You did. You spoiled it all. Too late.
Who is talking right now? I think that's my other co-host. Is that Adam?
Bo, what's up, everybody? It is. It's me.
So you mentioned Horizons, which, we talked about Space 220. Who is excited to finally sample the fares of Space 220? It appears, and I don't want to speak too soon, that it's gonna open. I mean, Disney actually put like a video out. That hasn't stopped them before from delaying it, but it's gonna open.
But then they actually set a date.
Yeah, that hasn't stopped them either. I think they printed a map with a date on it once, and then they didn't open it, so.
Yeah. But I don't think they announced it, right? They said something like, I don't know, what was it originally? Like fall 2019 or winter 2019? I can't remember.
Is it still fall 2019? Is that when it's opening?
Winter 2019.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went back in time. Although 2019 was a much better year. For Disney especially.
They are going to serve all the food in pouch form, right? At this restaurant, if they're going to keep it authentic.
Absolutely, and it's going to be zero gravity. Yeah. That's what I heard.
That'll be cool.
That would actually be cool.
That's what's taking them so long.
Well, yeah, if they could pull that off, that would be cool. I haven't watched all the stuff about Space 220, but I did see that they have some homage to Horizons, correct? You know, they're tipping their hat a little bit.
They did it in the ride.
Could remind you of it? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that was on purpose.
Cool if they did. What if they, your trip to the Space 220 in the elevator is like just the video from Horizons, the space ending? That'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
We'll talk about that first then, since we brought it up. Originally, the rumor was it was going to open on October 1st, but the latest new rumor is it is going to open on September the 20th. However, at the time of this recording, no reservations are yet available. Adam, you and I are going to be there the weekend of September 24th.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll be able to get a reservation? And how many people are actually going to eat there with that reservation? Or are they just going to ride the elevator up and right back down?
Yeah. Well, I think that's why they're going to do a prefix menu, aren't they? So that they force you to order an entree, dessert, appetizer versus just going and getting a drink and leaving.
You know, that's the one thing that's really just kind of odd about saying September 20th, because that is not that far away, and then they don't even have it available at this time that we're recording this anyway. It doesn't even appear to be available to reserve.
Right. Well, they just announced today, as we're recording this, that it's opening on the 20th, according to the Imagineer, Zach.
Yeah.
Zachary Ridley.
Mm-hmm. The Zach Ridley.
Like I said, the video actually looked pretty cool. I mean, on the inside, we got to see it live.
I mean, it's always been a cool restaurant idea. It always has been. I think it's just a little stained by the fact that, like, if it had opened on time, I would have been super excited. Now I'm like, the whole thing is like, if I actually get in there, I'm gonna be surprised I'm even present. I'm like, how did I get in here? I never thought this place was gonna open.
Yeah. It's like people are like, I'm not gonna believe it until I can actually taste the pouch.
Taste the pouch. I think that's why he's showing all these videos of inside. Like, hey, it actually is here. It does exist. It does work.
Yeah. Speaking of things, by the way, that don't work and have been closed for a while or never opened, we have seen some construction permits filed for Primeval Whirl.
No, they're going to rebuild it.
Are they?
Bigger and better than ever.
Or are they just going to like finish clearing that area and, and that's pretty much it?
No, they're going to build 2 more of them side by side. So it's going to be total of 4 Primeval Whirls now.
I mean, Dinosaur is a fine ride, but if they're just like, if they were to say, we're just redoing this whole area, we're getting rid of all of them, I'd say go for it.
Right.
Just do it. Like, the whole thing doesn't make sense. Just get rid of all of it, start over.
I think what they're going to do, though, is just add another Triceratops spin over there. That's what we need.
Another, so we can, because it's got such high demand, you really need 2 of them.
Yeah. They like Dumbo.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're going to have it match Dumbo.
Mm-hmm.
I think the overhaul, though, of like Dino Land is probably a pipe dream, especially with the budget I'm sure that they're working on right now. So
what if it's an upcharge, though?
I don't think so.
Just to get into Dino Land, you have to pay another admission fee.
Boarding group.
Oh,
You need a boarding group to play the carnival games in Dino Land.
They charged extra for those anyway, though, didn't they?
They do.
It's just like nobody ever did anything. Like,
Yeah, and they charge an astronomical amount for them, too. It's something crazy.
it's like $5 for a throw of something. Like, no? Why would I do that?
I've never really gotten into any carnival games anywhere. They're all cash grabs.
They are, yeah. But at least at a county fair or state fair, it's like $1 a throw or something, you know.
I think you can get 3 throws for $5 at least, not 1 throw.
Same crappy prize you would get at a state fair.
If we really want to stick it to Chapek, we need to spend the next few weeks practicing one of those throws. And that way we can just always get it and just clean them out of all of their merchandise.
We could put those videos on TikTok too.
If you really want to stick it to Chapek, what you do is, if you're going to Disney World at all, you spend the least amount of money humanly possible while you're there. That's how you stick it to Chapek.
I think the only way to do that is to just not go.
Right. Because he's still getting money one way or the other.
Like stay off property, only buy tickets, don't eat there, nothing.
They'll get you.
Right. They would throw you
get
out.
You somehow. They would throw you out.
It would be funny to bring your own food and just like have a picnic out somewhere.
Yeah.
Just be like, I'm not.
Just spread
They
a
would throw
blanket
you
out.
out. Right. Yeah. They'd throw you out somewhere.
In one piece of news where Disney is not trying to take all of your money, they have decided to expand their 2 per item limit to basically every piece of merchandise in the entire park now. So if you are an eBay reseller, it's not just like the new stuff. You know, they were doing this for like the new stuff, but now it's basically everything except for like ponchos and candy. Now, as I studied this, it's 2 per SKU. And sometimes, like, the same shirt in different sizes might have different SKU numbers. So you might be able to get, like, 2 double XLs and 2 XLs or something. But what do you think of this change? How do you feel about limiting everything to 2 items?
I wonder if the reason behind it, I mean, I'm not saying it is, could it possibly be manufacturing supply?
I think it's just the fact that the eBay sellers just clean them out the moment they open
I think it's
anything.
twofold.
Well, there's that too.
I think
Yeah,
it's
but
both.
because there has been some news stories, I don't know if it's everywhere, but about manufacturing kind of being short on help.
Yeah.
So,
Or just supply chain in general is strained
Yeah.
or slow
yeah.
because of the pandemic and other reasons too.
But I would think that even hits Disney to some degree, don't you think?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, so...
I would say that it's happening is supply, and then the other reason is to close kind of a loophole that the eBay resellers have been exploiting for a long time. So
Okay, so next thing I wanted to bring up.
yeah.
We are just a few weeks out, Adam, to when I'm going to be back on property, and I'm going to forget everything negative I've said because I'm going to remember the magic of Disney.
It's time to remember the magic. Mm-hmm.
One of the places that is coming very soon is La Creperie de Paris.
Oh, yes. Is it going to be open before, like when we get there, or no?
It is supposed to be open on October 1st, but maybe they'll have it like a soft opening by the time we're there.
That would be great.
So La Creperie de Paris will have some great crepes, and there's going to be, an indoors, inside and outside, and the menu has been revealed. So there's going to be quite a bit of savory and sweet crepes, which is an improvement because I feel like there weren't any savory crepes in the current crepe stand. It was all sweet.
Yeah.
The restaurant will offer, basically a la carte, but it's also going to offer a daily pre-fee menu that will include a choice of soup or a salad, one savory galette, I don't know if I'm saying that word right, one dessert crepe, and a glass of hard cider, soda, or juice. So they're going to have quite a bit of hard ciders. The full menu of savory and sweet crepes features, here's the savory ones. They have the classique, a ham, egg, and Swiss cheese. Sounds great.
Nice
A
breakfast
poulette,
one.
which has chicken, bechamel cheese sauce, and mushrooms.
Ooh.
I will take that one. A chèvre, a goat cheese, spinach, and walnuts. I think my wife would like that one.
I would too.
I think she would go for actually maybe this one, the salmon, which is smoked salmon, creme fraiche, chives, and lemon.
They all sound good to me.
The ratatouille one, which is tomato, zucchini, and eggplant. I don't know if I'm going to go for that. I don't think that's going to be me. Although I do like tomato, zucchini, and eggplant. I don't know about that.
On a crepe, I don't know. Yeah.
Savoyard. It's got raclette cheese, onions, and imported Bayonne ham. I don't really know what the difference between that one. I guess that's like ham, cheese, and onions versus the fact that you have one up above that's like ham, egg, and cheese. Anyways, whatever. So those are the savories. The sweets are going to be a gourmand, which is a hazelnut chocolate spread and whipped cream. So the Nutella crepe.
Yeah.
The banana, the banana caramel brûlée salé, so it's like banana and caramel. They have the melba, which is going to be peach, red berry sauce, and almonds. The poire, which is going to be pear, chocolate ganache, and whipped cream. I'm getting hungry. And the pomme, caramelized apples, and caramel brûlée salé. So it says here the pre-fee gets you one savory and one dessert. I think I'd probably go with either the chicken with bechamel or maybe the salmon one. And then on the sweet one, I mean, you can't go wrong with the Nutella one, but the banana and caramel also sounds incredible to me.
I was going to say, this menu is one of the few menus I've heard or seen that I would actually try all of these at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a single one I heard that I didn't really like. I mean, there's some maybe less than others, but there's not a single one I heard that I didn't really like.
Right.
Now, if you don't go to the sit-down part, there will be the walk-up window. The walk-up window is only going to serve 3 of the savories. I don't have a list here of which savories it's going to serve, and 4 sweet crepes. Soft-serve ice cream, and an assortment of ciders and wines. But I feel like this is a place we're going to need to go do a sit-down at. I mean, we need to go do this place. This is going to be good.
Yeah.
How much did they say how much it is for the pre-fee?
I have not seen a price.
I was just curious.
Well,
Do we want to make a guess since we don't know?
Is it like, I'd say like 2 for $20, something like that. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Well, no, the pre-fee, let me just remind you of what comes on the pre-fee.
All right. What is it again?
Super salad, one savory, one dessert, and a glass of hard cider soda juice.
Oh, okay. So it's more than that. It's like 30.
I'm going to say like
30,
$35.
yeah.
30,
I was gonna say
35 bucks.
30, yeah. I'd say at least 29.
40.
99 or
Do I
something.
hear 40?
Yeah.
Bob Chapek's happy if you say 40.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this, honest. Like, this is one of the few things they've announced recently that I'm just like, I want to go here. Like, honestly, if this is open when we go for Ratatouille, I'm almost more excited if we get to eat here than riding the ride. Like, this would be awesome. I'm looking at some of the pictures. They look awesome.
Yeah. The question, though, is will it be open early? Doesn't
And
sound
if it's
like
not, we're going to have to figure out when we're going in the 50th to...
Yeah. Which, might be our last trips as APs, depending on how we feel about it.
Yeah.
As it stands, we plan on going with our friends
In
the
October?
6th through the 11th, yeah. As
Are
it
you going
stands.
to try to go visit Disney? You didn't mention that before. Like you said you might go to
it would
Orlando,
be-
but not.
Oh, no. It was going to be visiting Disney. It was going to be a combination of visiting,
Right.
Yeah.
Other places.
yeah. It was going to be it wasn't going to be just Disney. But yes, it was.
Right.
It was. Epcot was definitely going to be involved, and of course Magic Kingdom because you have to, and Hollywood Studios because we need to do stuff there still too. So
That's where everything is.
yeah, Animal
You
Kingdom
You still
probably
gotta
going to be
get
left out.
That Rise boarding group, which,
Yeah.
to be fair, if you had been there this week, John, you would have had no problems getting the Rise boarding group.
Yes, I know.
This month.
There were boarding groups available late. I saw Kendall, who is a challenge runner, report out that she walked into Hollywood Studios the other night at 7 p.m. and pulled a boarding group. 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Got a boarding group.
And there were even some nights reported that they let people on without it, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's
rare,
what we've
but
heard, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just dead right now. That's the thing. Is
And how long is it going to last? Because it looks like it's going to spill over up almost until the 50th happens.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to go for a while.
I mean, I
guys-
feel like right now during this time of the year, kids are back in school. Typically, it's international guests that are usually buoying the attendance, and they can't come. And Delta variant is also pushing it down.
Well, I was going to say last September, October, all that stuff seemed to be affected less than what we're seeing right now, right? I mean, even during the 20.
Well, so they had really low capacity back then, really low. Because I think I went in, what was it, October? I think I went in October last year. It was the first time I went back.
I think it was fairly busy when you went.
It was
That's what I'm saying.
busy, but compared to recently, it was not busy.
Like our Memorial Day trip was pretty packed.
Yeah, that was packed.
Even July when I went, it was pretty packed.
My point being, though, even with limited capacity, it seemed like it was busier in those time periods than it is right now.
Right.
Right, but I think they're basically almost running Rise of the Resistance at full boarding group capacity at this point. They're trying to figure out what's the maximum they can fit in a day so they can figure out how many lightning lanes they can sell.
Right.
Well, they're trying to push it, too, because the 50th is around the corner. And they're going to have to push it. They hope they're going to have to push it.
I will say this, though, towards the end of September, there's a lot more dining reservations available for the days that we're going, and
Then there were, yeah.
hotel reservations have opened up, as we talked about.
I think when I first decided I was going to go with you guys,
Mm-hmm.
I was able to score like an all-star music or it was a movies, all-star movies, and it was rack rate because there was barely anything available. Since then, I was able to see, a Pop Century popped up, rack rate, booked it. Now I've got Pop Century 25% off.
Right.
I'm now at Pop Century for cheaper than All-Star Movies. Pop Century is like leagues better than All-Star Movies just because there's the Skyliner. Like,
Right.
Well, Pop
For a lot
Century
of
is hands down the best value right now.
well, okay. I'm going to challenge it slightly.
Okay.
Pop Century rack rate is like $192 now. Rack rate Coronado Springs, not Grandestino, but Coronado Springs is like $240. I know you get the Skyliner, but
Well,
if I'm going to go have a pool day, I would rather be at Coronado Springs.
Well, when I said
And I'd
value,
rather-
I meant value resorts. I didn't even mean like actual
Oh, I thought
value.
you meant like overall value.
yeah.
Like
No, no.
I would say Coronado is still the best bang for the dollar if you're wanting to experience a resort. I would say
Hotel Chapek, though.
Pop Century is your best bang for a dollar if you don't care about the resort and you want a Skyliner. Like if you want both resort and Skyliner, I would either say Art of Animation if you want a suite, or Caribbean Beach if you don't want a suite. Those would be the best dollar for value if you're actually trying to experience the resort. Because I mean, when I'm at Pop Century, I don't use the resort. Nothing about that place screams like stay at this resort and do things here. It's not that compelling.
Right. But What I meant by that was, like I said, amongst its category.
Amongst this category, absolutely.
Yes, that's what I meant by that. When I said value, I meant value resorts, what they call
So
value resorts.
it's been so long since I've even. I mean, I stayed at All Stars for my challenge completion, but obviously the only thing I did was sleep there and get pizza to put in the car. The pool's there. Which pool is better? All Stars pool or Pop Century's pool? I mean, I feel like from what's classified as value, Art of Animation's going to win this pool race, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they have the big blue pool is better than a lot of pools, really.
Mm-hmm.
Not just
So-
value.
If you're out there thinking about going for the 50th or thinking about planning a trip, have you considered a travel agent?
Would they be able to tell you things about which place has the best pool and which place has the Skyliner and
Right.
what's going to make it easy for you to get to the festivities?
Yeah. And they'd help you strategize what would be the best deal you can get, best places to go. We just happen to know someone who's a friend of our show, Jill Dilbeck. You can go find her on our website, travelingwiththemouse.com, or you can go directly to her Facebook page. It is at Jill Dilbeck Academy Travel, and you can tell her that we sent you.
That would be excellent. I think having someone like Jill to do what I just described, which is keep changing the hotel reservations to get a better deal,
Right.
is way better than what I do, which is just hope that I'm lucky when I happen to be looking.
Exactly.
And if you want to take the stress out of doing the planning, which it is for some people it's fun for. But if you want to take the stress out of planning, having a travel agent do it all for you is the best option these days because they don't charge you anything. You get the exact same value, I guess, out of it as someone who does it on their own, only you don't have to do the work. You just tell them what you want and they do it for you.
Yeah, it's like hiring a vacation planner for free for Disney, which, don't tell Chapek this, but...
Well, we're taking money out of Chapek's pocket, so use Jill, and you are getting to enjoy Disney and making sure Chapek gets less dollars.
Right. He'll have to get the
So-
medium-sized jacuzzi.
Yeah, he's
Next
going to
time.
have to settle down. He was considering the world's biggest jacuzzi, and he's just going to have to settle for the second biggest. So
Yeah. Bezos, probably.
And my next album only went gold.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I knew you'd catch that one.
as we move on from that, I
Yeah,
wanted to
what else?
mention a hotel I have no intention of staying at
Yeah.
is being delayed on its opening again. Walt Disney World Swan Reserve is now sending out emails telling folks that their reservations are being canceled because the Swan Reserve will not open until mid-October. It was originally scheduled to open on September 1st. Then it was moved until late September, and now it's mid-October. Folks are being auto-booked, I believe, into just the Swan if they don't do anything.
Yikes.
So so they're being moved from the Swan Reserve to the Swan.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to this one because it's way overpriced for one compared to, Swan and Dolphin. I used to say I kind of like Swan and Dolphin, but
You stayed there a lot.
I have, yeah. It has been a while, though, since I've last stayed at... I think it was the Swan was the last time I stayed at one of the
Well, I
two.
mean, when I looked for our weekend we're going, Swan and Dolphin was expensive.
I know.
I was going to say, let's be honest. The reasons why you got them at the time you did is because they were available and they were not that expensive. The times that you got them.
Yeah, I mean, but I would say the room I got at the Swan was filthy. It was so dirty. It was one of the dirtiest rooms I've ever stayed in at Disney
Ever?
or any.
Oh, I was about to
it was
say.
bad. No, I'm sure I've stayed in worse than that, but it was filthy. I think I remember talking about that on the review of it. I preferred the Dolphin as far as the hotel, although the Swan had queen beds. The Dolphin has the double beds, which, like, come on. At this point, you got to fix that Dolphin. Right. And, of course, we always make the joke about the Dolphin being, visible from pretty much anywhere on property. So,
And I mean, it really doesn't look like a dolphin.
eyesore.
It looks like just a fish.
a fish.
Well, this is interesting. I just went and looked at the Swalfin for the weekend we're going to be there, and I remember before when I was looking,
Has it
they were
opened
up
up?
in the. It was up in the like 300s for a room. Now they're offering you $187 for a room.
Better. Of course, they do have resort fee, parking, and all that, so it adds up over
It does.
time. But is that one of those dolphin rooms with no view? It's just funny.
Dolphin traditional guest room, 2 doubles, no view.
Yeah, see? No view. It literally says that on the description. No view.
When I think of no view, I think of like the inside cabins on the Wonder. Like they don't even have the magic portholes. They have nothing.
It's just a piece of
Deluxe
plywood
resort
over the
view
window.
is 230. Traditional is 213. All right. Well, the Swalfin, I'm not thinking about the Swan Reserve anytime soon. I mean,
Yeah. The rooms were too expensive from what I looked at before. Because I did look in September when we first were doing this, and they were in the 300s, I think. So it's like, for that location. First of all, the building looks just as ugly as the Swan and Dolphin. They have gone out of their way to make it look ugly on the outside.
So now they have
Weird.
something against Chapek, apparently.
I guess so, yeah. They're just continuing as long as they can.
bring back Eisner.
Right.
Now, our next news story is a bit of sad news.
Okay.
We lost a pretty big legend this week who also had some parts in quite a few Disney things. Ed Asner died at the ripe old age of 91. He was the voice of Carl Fredricksen in Up. He played Santa Claus in Elf, probably the most known part, which was Lou Grant on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. There might be a lot of folks that are listening to this that might not even know what that is.
If you're under a certain age range, sure.
Yeah. But it's sad to see that, I almost feel like I need to go watch the first 15 minutes of Up and get a good cry in just because of that.
Lord. I can't. That opening is rough, man. It's very emotional.
When you mentioned that, I think the Mary Tyler Moore Show might have still been on the air when I was born, just barely. I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because it was like the late 70s, early 80s. When
I think it might have ended in like 81 or something.
Well, actually, it says the final season aired 77, March.
Oh, so it was before
March 1977 was the final.
Well, we're sad for Ed moving on. For your sake, Adam, I hope they never make an Up ride because now you're going to be pissed off that the voice actor is not going to be correct.
Well, it wasn't going to be correct anyway.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Yeah, I'm sure he wouldn't.
Now let's hop over to the studios, and let's talk a little bit about a competitor to our favorite. Our favorite is the Baseline Tap House, but the Tune-In Lounge is back open, and when it reopened, they said there was no seating, but there's now seating showing up at the Tune-In Lounge. What do you think? Are we going to make our way over and have a little drink, or are we loyal baseliners?
I would go have a drink there.
You'd be willing to give it a try?
I'm going to rope drop the Baseline, and Tune-In Lounge can be like a second choice.
I have to say, I've only been in the Tune-In Lounge once, and this was pre-drinking days, so...
You've only been in the Tune-In Lounge once?
Yeah, and it was because we were waiting on a table.
Well, I was about to say, that's like where the
50s.
waiting area is, but we didn't get anything there, so it didn't really count.
Oh, well, I said been in. I didn't say, I was in there, technically.
Well, yeah.
I saw the bar, and I saw the area where you would sit. But, yeah, I kind of want to try it now, yeah. I would go try it out. But, of course, I would still go to Baseline. I'm not going to not go to Baseline. That's like a tradition at this point. I'm drinking out of my Baseline cup now. Souvenir glass.
All right.
Well, I guess we'll have to just figure out if we're going to make that part of our trip coming up. Probably not. Now, are you guys excited? Because John mentioned a lot of crap coming to Disney Plus last week that we did not care about.
Exactly.
But you know what is coming now?
What?
The Return of the Rocketeer.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, I do remember seeing that. I can't believe I missed that one.
How excited are we?
It's supposed to be like a sequel, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way I understand it.
Okay. Because I know before they talked about bringing it back as an animated thing, but
No, I don't think that's what they're doing there. Here.
this is going to be a real live action.
Are they going to have the original cast? Or at least some of them.
Are they going to bring
Probably
back
not.
Billy What was his name?
I don't know. He didn't act in very much. The Rocketeer's the only thing I can think of that I remember seeing him in.
Campbell? That was Billy Campbell, right?
I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like it needs to end with the same ridiculous fight scene on a blimp.
Sure.
I mean,
Where it like blows up slowly.
Yeah. You know, hydrogen always blows up slowly. One bad shot and we'll all fry.
hydrogen's so stable.
Yeah, of course.
It is.
But it burns very slowly. Slow enough to jump onto a airplane with a ladder.
And get you that nice exotic death for the villain.
Right. Tiny round.
All right, well, let's dive into maybe some news that I am not...
Yeah.
That's diving into some things that we're not excited about.
Elephant
The first not exciting thing, Living with the Land, is closed.
Still.
Let's say Living with the Land is awesome. Wait a minute. Oh, but yeah, it's closed.
It's closed. It's been closed as of the time of this recording for at least 13 days. I think last week we tried to say it had reopened, but it was just shown on the app as open, but it has not opened.
Yeah.
I'm assuming something's wrong with the ride. I don't think they're getting rid of it. I know that some people are like, they're getting rid of it. I think it's coming back. It's a cheap ride.
But what could be wrong? I mean, there's not much
I heard
to
there
it.
was a leak in the roof. That's what I had heard originally. Like when they said when it first closed, there was some preliminary reports that people had seen the roof leaking. So I feel like that should have been fixed by now. But
is that something bad enough to keep it the whole ride down though? Are we talking about just the glass area? I'm assuming.
If they have to go replace all that glass, that might be pretty extensive repairs.
It would also be hard to hide.
Could be. But is this also the crowds are down, so let's just leave it closed for a while because
maybe
saves money?
Maybe they're sprucing it up for the 50th.
Maybe I should go remind them that I once was on the rope for a reopening of Living with the Land because I was so excited to ride it on my challenge day.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, you were excited that you could cross it off the list and still have hope.
We know they're not closing it, though, because didn't they put a lightning lane sign on it today? I saw that picture somewhere.
Yeah, that's our next story.
Maybe that's why it was closed.
Yeah, they had to put a sticker up.
It's a good segue.
That's a good segue to our next story. The lightning lane signs are popping up, and thank God they're not just putting like Lightning McQueen on everything. They are at least so far attempting to try to theme the stickers, and I say that with a little bit of disdain in my voice because it's theme the stickers.
Yeah,
stickers. In some cases. Yeah. Anyways, so both Epcot and Disney and Magic Kingdom have seen some lightning lane signs go up. We did see one at Living with the Land. We saw them at Soarin'. We saw them at
Small World.
Yeah, Small World.
Looked terrible there.
Yeah, the one at Small World is the worst looking one.
Yeah, looks awful.
It looks awful. They put one at Jungle Cruise, Tomorrowland Speedway. Supposedly the ones that are like 3D are coming later, but they've started putting up the signage.
So I got to ask, with them going to all this, I mean, come on, you guys got to be coming over to my side now. It's going to be available by October 1st.
Maybe.
I feel like they need to have like a 3-week training course on how to use this new app before they
That's not how Disney does things. Do you not did you not remember when Magic Bands came out? That is not how they do this. My MDE was learn on the go. That is exactly how it started. How many years
did you do MDE poorly? Because you didn't know what you were doing right?
The majority of them, probably. From the moment they started it.
I would say until I started coming more than once a year, probably 2015, I would say, is when I started getting better at it.
But were you really using it to its full capacity at that point?
Until Jason started going and we started learning how to do fast passes. Yeah. It was really Jason that started the fast pass stuff.
He just started playing with the app and saw, hey, I can get this.
Right. And then he started studying it and getting better and better and better at it. Yeah. So, I don't think I used its full potential until 2017, 18 maybe.
So really, close to the end, unfortunately.
Right.
I just want to remind myself sometimes that nobody else that went to Disney had, I'm not going to say nobody else, but the vast majority of people that are at Disney World did not have my experience with Fast Pass. Let's just put it that way. Like to them, it was an enigma. They were still like for the average guest, they were standing in standby lines for way longer than they're going to stand in standby lines in the new system. So I'm going to go ahead and go out and say that I recognize
that's why
this
they did
price barrier is actually hurting people like me the most that knew how to exploit and use like 18 fast passes in a day versus someone who barely knew how to get their 3.
Which was like less than 1% of the Disney population.
Because there was probably some that didn't realize you could do more than 3 because they would get their Seven Dwarfs Mine Train for 7:30 p.m. and they would hold on to it all day because they wanted to ride it, and they would just wait around until their 7:30 fast pass.
Yeah, I mean, I know we kind of get ticked off because we knew how to work it, right? But like we were just saying, the percentage of people that knew how to do that was so small that what they're doing is better for them because it brings more people into the being happy because they're going to either wait less overall or they're going to be able to pay to pretty much not wait at all. Because I guarantee you, there are going to be people that pay for it, but it's going to cut back on the number of people that are doing Lightning Lane enough that it's going to be pretty exclusive.
Yeah, I think they're
the
banking
standby
on
lines will move faster.
Yeah.
They're banking on it being a better guest experience in the long run. So they're taking the heat now so that later it'll be better.
Which I know people always pointed out during this time period without Fast Pass, like, oh, this doesn't prove that it's better without Fast Pass. I'm like, when you consider how long the lines were even during slow times because there was Fast Pass Plus, yeah, that's another thing that was different, during, say, September. There was lower crowds, but the wait times stayed pretty consistent for that time,
Well, I mean, I'll point out as someone who's been during COVID quite a bit, the lines move almost constantly unless someone at the front of the line drops their sunglasses onto the track and then Slinky Dog has to sit for like 10 minutes while somebody goes against the claw and all that stuff. Other than that, the lines move pretty at a pretty good clip.
Sure.
And truthfully, for anyone who's like waited in line at any other theme park in the world, pretty much waiting in line at Disney is actually a breeze.
Yeah,
when you have to.
That's true, actually. Yeah, even like our friends, I mentioned this. I think that went for the first time. They were used to other theme parks. They were like, the loading and unloading process at Disney is so much faster than a ride at Six Flags or some other place because they have to do a lot more of the safety check and the making sure someone's in the right row and, oh, this kid needs to go here, not here, and they have to undo the harness and redo it, and whereas Disney's like zip, 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 in and out. You don't have to have a locker for every ride. I think Tron is going to be the first Disney ride that will require guests to have a bag put in a locker before you get on it. So that's
they have lockers optional at Cali.
Mm-hmm. And you sort of do that with Flight of Passage, but it's right behind you, so you don't really have to like go back and get it later. It's right behind you. But
I feel like parks like, say, for instance, not so much SeaWorld, even though they're getting better at it, but Universal, of course, they do a good job with theming their queues as well, for the most part. I mean, some of their earlier rides probably not so much, but they are now doing a better job of theming their queues. And having good, well-themed queues actually helps the wait as well. That's another thing Disney has always pretty much done, is having well-themed queues. Now, again, their older stuff, not so much as well, if you have to wait in line for some of the older rides. But even those have been improved. Say Peter Pan, for instance, has an indoor part.
Yeah, Peter Pan's good.
Yeah, where a lot of the Fantasylands rides from back in the day, they used to be line after line. You could see a glimpse of the ride that you were about to get to during that whole time. And then finally you could see it. Just going back and forth.
Yeah. Even Pirates, is old, but it's still fun to look at some of the details in there. Yeah.
Highly themed queue.
It's not as advanced as some of the others, but
I know we've talked about the Pirates in California being like heads or tails better, but the queue line, for instance, at Pirates in Florida versus Pirates in California, the queue line in Florida is way better.
Yeah, I would say most of the queues in Florida are better by design because
Yeah.
there's not as much space in Disneyland for one, and for the other, Disneyland, you have to cover most of the ones in Florida because of the rain, but makes them better.
Yep. We have 2 more sad stories.
Okay.
Are you ready? The next thing that's going to be a little depressing, if this does not happen while I am there, is that Happily Ever After has been performing, or at least for one night, performed without fireworks. And this is most likely because of the test of the, what's it called, Enchantment is the name of the new fireworks spectacular, was being
50th.
tested for the 50th, and there was black smoke spotted coming out of the Magic Kingdom, and it turns out it was a fire at one of the firework launching stations.
Yeah.
And so I just hope that they fix that before we go, because that's one of the big reasons I'm going, is to say goodbye to Happily Ever After.
Yeah.
If they don't have a run, like Happily Ever After, if you consider COVID, had like a 2 or 3 year run.
Yeah, no, very sad. I remember watching the live stream of the first night that it opened.
That's one of the shortest running fireworks shows probably ever. Now that
It is the best fireworks show.
It is so good. Yeah, it really is incredible.
Like, I can remember, must have been for a challenge run, because I was by myself, and the night before the run, I went and watched Happily Ever After, and there was a lady next to me, and she's like, is this worth sticking around for? I'm like, yes. Buckle up. We were right there. We were right in the main hub area. We had a great spot. I was like, buckle up, get ready. And when it was over, I looked over. She's like, I'm here for work. I'm just hanging out for a few hours. I want to see what's going on. I'm like, hang out, watch this. And I looked over and she's like, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is good. We shed a few happy tears.
I mean, I, in general, am not a big fireworks person, in the sense that, like, if you just go and watch a fireworks show where they just shoot fireworks up for a while, like, that's fine. Sure, cool.
Yeah.
But you synchronize it with the music, you add the projections, you put a really good soundtrack behind it. That's what impresses me. It is.
Soundtrack makes a big difference in it. I mean, it really does.
Right. Because I'll say, like, the 4th of July fireworks at, say, Washington, D.C. or New York City or something, they're good. They're, like, impressive amount of fireworks. But it kind of gets boring after a while. You're seeing fireworks. But when you had the music and the projections and the different sort of emotions that Happily Ever After takes you through, it's just a complete package versus just seeing a bunch of fireworks.
I would
The
say
fireworks help tell the story.
Yeah.
I would say a large part of why I liked Illuminations was the music. I mean, I still love that soundtrack. I listen to it on a regular
Illuminations
basis.
is great. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
There is, again, there was that one weird lull in the middle for like 10 minutes where it's like, is it over or not?
Yeah,
A lot of
because
people start leaving.
there's not a lot going on was the reason
Right.
why they did that. But the music
So the
part is
globe would
actually
open
still
up
doing
and-
quite well.
Yeah, the music was good, but it's just like, okay, what's happening? A lot of people would get confused by that.
Yeah, that's when they're getting the globe in place.
Yes, and it takes like 5 minutes to get it
It's all
going and
part of the
open
show,
up.
folks.
It's all, hey, another Rocketeer reference. It's all part of the show.
All right, we have one more big story tonight.
Yeah.
I know we've started not bearing the lead, but this time I waited at the very end. The annual passes are coming back to Walt Disney World. They will be available for sale on September 8th. They are replacing the old passes with 4 new pass tiers. I want everybody who's listening to, if you're like in the car and you're sort of zoning out at this point, if you're walking your dog, mowing your lawn, focus in, because it's not going to be easy to understand this, because it's complicated. And by complicated, I mean they came up with dumb names that's really hard to understand.
Yeah. Again, first of all, Lightning Lane. I don't know who came up with that, but you're going to get rid of Fast Pass and change it to Lightning Lane? That's stupid. Anyway.
Like we said, it sounds like an RSW change.
Yeah, it's just a dumb name.
There are still bad names. So the cheapest annual pass you can buy So other than the top tier pass, it's only for Florida residents. I'll just go ahead and put that out there. The cheapest Florida resident annual pass is the Disney Pixie Dust Pass. This is a very reasonable $399 per year, or a $19 per month payment for 12 months after a $205 down payment. If you get this pass, you are able to book up to 3 park reservations at a time. You have the most blockout dates, and this is only on weekdays that you would be able to go to Disney World. So there are no weekends. It is weekdays only, with blockouts on some weekdays.
I was going to say, and how many people who live in Florida have the opportunity, other than the weekend, to go? Because they're the ones that are going to be buying this because it's only who it's available to. So
yeah. So that is the cheapest park pass holder option. Now, if you're a Florida resident and you would like to go on not the weekend, your next option would be the Disney's Pirate Pass. Pirates are more important than pixie dust, apparently. This will be $699 plus tax, or if you'd like to go on a payment plan, it is $45 per month for 12 months after a $205 down payment. Now, this one has fewer blackout dates. You are allowed to have up to 4 park reservations at a time, only available for Florida residents.
it's called the Pirate Pass because you feel pillaged, plundered, rifled, and looted.
This feels the most similar to me to what was called the Silver Pass before, right? The Pixie Dust Pass seems like it's trying to target the Epcot After 4 audience, except it's way more expensive and it's not just Epcot. Which, by the way, they're not going to offer that anymore. No more Epcot After 4 passes, which seems like a bad choice. All right, the next tier pass, if Pixie Dust is the lowest tier, Pirate is the next tier, then naturally the tier after that is called the Disney... Is it not obvious what the next tier is?
Oh.
It's the Disney's Sorcerer Pass.
Oh, right. Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom Pass.
Right, so Pixies, Pirates, Sorcerers.
Yeah, I see the hierarchy here. Got it.
Yeah.
The pecking
So this
order.
pass is going to be $899 or $63 per month after a $205 down payment. Now, this one will also be available to Disney Vacation Club members. Okay, so this is the most akin. It has 5. You can get up to 5 park reservations at a time, some blockout dates. This is the closest to what you would have known before as the Gold Pass.
Yeah.
And if you want to be able to go whenever you want, pending available reservations, you would have to get, we have Pixie, Pirate, Sorcerer. Obviously, the next tier is...
Bob Chapek's Butler. I don't know.
No,
Mickey.
not right.
Mickey Mouse? Goofy?
Oh,
It's Goofy.
those
The
would
whole
be-
thing's
those
Goofy.
Those would probably be good. No, it's the Incredipass.
Oh, yeah. Right. Everything's Incredibles now.
The Incredipass will cost you a cool
An incredible amount of money.
$1,299 plus taxes.
Yeah.
Or, if you're a Florida resident, you can get it for $99 per month after a $205 down payment. It has no blockout dates, but you still have to make a park reservation, but you can hold 5 at a time. This is essentially a $100 increase from before. Is that correct?
For
the Platinum?
Yeah. Good. Well, the Platinum
100,
Plus,
150?
I think, was the one that was like $12.50, I think. So this is basically around that. Minus the perks.
Those are the basics. Now, before I tell you some of the things that are or not included, these are all price increases. We'll start there.
Of course.
That's not unexpected. They raise prices every year. So, if I just had gotten that at face value, I would have said, why did they rename the silver, gold, and platinum passes to something dumb? Not a big deal. Right? It's a big deal, but it's expected. That's what they do every year. In fact, they've skipped a year because of COVID. But let's talk about what you don't get anymore with an annual pass.
Yeah.
The first and the most important thing you don't get anymore, photo pass.
Boo.
Not
That's
included.
the biggest boo of all. Most people, I think, would agree this is the worst part of the whole thing.
Yes, absolutely. If you would like to have PhotoPass, it is a $99 add-on to your annual pass.
Yeah. And I guess the bright side is if you, like for me, a family of 4, at least maybe I could add it to one of them, and as long as somebody has it, it will affect, everybody else. So
Yeah, you just have to make sure you scan your band at every PhotoPass.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and if you look at it for the price of PhotoPass, you're getting $100 to have it for the whole year, right?
Right.
So,
But
It's
I
not
was
terrible.
getting it included in my pass before that was $150 cheaper.
they're probably
Right.
just, truthfully, they would have just gone up this much on the annual pass and said it was included. And
Yeah,
before.
but they did.
So,
But they didn't include it. They
Yeah.
went up that much and
Well,
didn't include it.
I meant they would have gone up this much. They would have gone up $100 even more.
That would have been like a $250 increase. That's even crazy for Disney.
That's why they separated it.
I mean, that is a lot. Now, a couple of
Waterfront.
things that are also upcharges. $99 for the sports upcharge, which I understand gets you some golf and like ESPN Wide World
Right.
of Sports.
Which was the old Plus Pass.
Yep.
Had that included.
And there's also the ability to pay extra to add on the water parks. Now, this is the one thing where things got a teensy bit better. The only way you could add on water parks last in the old system was to get the Disney's Platinum Plus Pass, which was basically the Platinum Pass plus water parks.
Right.
Now you can add water parks onto any of these passes. So that is an improvement. Let's give them at least one, before they take it away, thumbs up, that even if you have the lowest tier pass, which is
Pixie.
The
Pixie.
Pixar Luxo Pass. What was it?
the Pixar Luxo Pixie Dust Pass,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
is the lowest tier. You can still add on the water parks for one low rate. Now, no word of it. Can you add on Genie yet or anything like that? But yeah, they took a lot of stuff away. You're still going to get the 20% discount. There's more reservations. If you have a hotel booked, you're allowed to make reservations for as many days as you're booked at the hotel, plus whatever your allocation is. They have mentioned that they're going to have what's called, quote, bonus reservations that don't count towards your limit, that are supposed to be like special events throughout the year. And by special events, they mean the weeks in late August and early September when nobody's here, we are happy to have you make a reservation for free. Now, I'm interested in this new integrated calendar where you will be able to see the blockout dates, view available days, and make, modify, or cancel a reservation all in one place. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest problem with the reservation system before. There was no modify. If they add that, I'm going to be happier. Because before, you had to just hope or trust the calendar that your park was going to be there, and you had to drop it and pick up a new one. There was no modify.
Yeah, that's good that you can modify. Sure.
You'll still get the 20% discounts on most merchandise, but overall, price increase, no PhotoPass. It's another trend for Disney of it's getting more expensive. It's getting more expensive
But
for
we're taking away.
a lower quality product. Like they're taking away stuff out of the product and charging more at the same time. I feel like if they had left PhotoPass in, I would not even, like, I would bat an eye at this, but I would just be like, yeah, that's about what I expected. Actually,
Be a lot easier to swallow than
yeah.
just the price increase and the stripping
But
everything else away.
squeezing us for PhotoPass just seems so cheap.
Yeah.
The signal I'm seeing is they want to get rid of PhotoPass altogether. They don't want it anymore.
Right. Because they're making you have to pay for it. Obviously, it's not making the amount of money that they want. So they're forcing annual pass holders to have to pay for it too.
Well, I mean, I go back to the price point though. $100 for pretty much
Sure.
unlimited photos.
But
Right,
it
but-
was included.
I get
Right.
you, but it's still $100 for unlimited photos. I mean, people are paying more than that when they just buy the package.
Right. But you're as an annual pass holder, it was a nice perk. Now they took it away.
So it's the toy that you wouldn't miss if you didn't have it already, basically.
I would miss it because every time we go there, my wife would want to take a picture, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'll have to pay for this."
Right.
So, okay, has this affected your thinking on will I renew when the time comes?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely am thinking about it. Although I will have to mention this: the renewal, they are giving discount the same 15%
Well, of course.
renewal discount that they had before. So
That's how they keep you. That's how they keep you there.
makes it somewhat palatable that they're still at least offering that, which is helpful. So I'm thinking about it. Again, as an out-of-stater, we don't get any option for payment or anything else, which I guess that makes sense. But it is nice to have the discount to renew, so that is at least something they're still doing.
Which means Adam's going to renew.
Maybe.
When is yours up
know.
anyway?
Well, mine is up in July next year, so I still have plenty
You
of
got a
time.
while.
My youngest is January, so that's going to be interesting. Do we pay for him?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was a good summary of everything that's sort of changing.
Yeah.
We're going to be up for renewal. I'm glad you renewed, Adam, but that might be our last time. Maybe.
Yeah. At least I have, 9 months to think about it. We'll see how the year
I
treats
have
us.
until January to
Okay.
think about it.
February.
Yeah.
Well, see, and I was considering about getting one again, but I'm not so sure now. So I don't know if it's going to be worth it for me in the long haul because we kind of already just do once a year for the most part. I don't know. I don't know if I want to feel tied to it to that degree because I'm probably just want to go when there's now. I'm probably going to just go mostly when there's new stuff because there's not as much new stuff right now except for Ratatouille. I'm probably going to want to go in the future when it's mostly just newer stuff there, mostly.
Yeah.
So.
I think someone said that before you could get away with maybe 10 days for it paid for itself, and now it's up to like 12 to 14 depending on when you go.
But that's assuming they're not up in the day ticket price.
Right. That's true. Right, which they probably will. I mean, at some point, Christmas Day is going to be $250 just to go for Christmas Day, which the
it's not-
freaking party already is. So
Well, have you gotten your magnet yet?
I have not. That's another thing. Yeah, we're supposed. Actually, the funny thing is they've sent me 2 of the old orange Mickey ones. They sent me 2 of those, and 2 separate things, which is very weird. But according to this, they're sending us. They're sending in another one, a new
The
themed
yellow
one.
with the new Mickey
Yeah, the Mickey Runaway Railway Mickey kind of Mickey. Yeah.
with the Disney D.
Look forward to those.
I just don't know. It's another week. I was gonna be positive this week. My final word would be I'm gonna remain positive that
Yeah.
Disney World is still going to be one of the best experiences you can go to, but they might be pricing it at a point where we're not going to be able to think about it like we used to, which is, hey, let's get an annual pass. We have a long weekend. Let's go for a few days. It might be I go once a year.
Yeah.
We'll see. I might change my mind. I might, decide that it's worth it after all. I'm going to go a bunch. Lightning Lane might not be as bad as I thought. But I feel like they're trying to tell people we don't really want you here all the time. We want a lot of people just coming once a year. And I don't really like it because I'm a going all the time kind of person. But I also get it. If folks like us aren't clogging up the parks, it makes things better for the vacationers. And I'm just going to wait and see. I don't think they're making the right choices, though, long term.
And I still kind of feel like those maybe, say, week-long guests, they probably are going to be more apt to, say, spend for certain things because they are just once a year. Whereas, maybe the regular person's not going to spend certain things because they're coming, they know they could come again.
Oh, yeah. If I was going once a year, let's say I decided I'm going to start going 1 week a year. I could, that's what I was doing, I could almost just do DVC. Go 1 week a year. I'm going to upgrade to the Lightning Lane, the Genie Plus, because why not? I'm just going 1 week a year. What is another $15 a day if you're just going once a year? Like, why not? Just do it. Just bundle it all in. But if I'm going 5 different weekends in a year, I'm much less likely to buy it every time.
Would you also do dining plan if you were once?
No. No. There was one time that I really enjoyed doing the dining plan, but the dining plan really pressures you to do sit down.
Right.
That's time. Lots of time.
And it takes so much time to do a sit down dinner. And you got to do one every day. But I will say the benefit of the dining plan when I did do it, that some folks in my family really enjoyed, my extended family, I should say. The biggest benefit is you paid it all up front. So while you're there, you're not spending any new money, which makes it better from that regards. Because they're like, it's almost like a challenge to game the system on the snack plan and also be like, oh, I just ate at this fancy restaurant. But because you'd already paid for it, it almost feels like you got to go for free.
Yeah. There have been times when I can consider saying it would be worth it to do, say, maybe the quick service one at least. Because, you know, if you wanted to do just the occasional, like you said, you feel pressure to do table service when you have the full one. So if you did the quick service one and then maybe thought occasionally you might do a table service, at least you don't feel pressured to do the table service with the quick service one. So, I don't know. I had thought about that one before, but I still never did it. Every time I've come back, like I said, I do the math between what it would have cost me to prepay versus what I actually spent, and I've always come out better with what I actually spent every time I've done a trip.
But I think the question is, what would you have ordered if you were on the dining plan? How would you have changed what you ordered?
Well, that's just it, though. Would I have changed it, or would I have only changed it because I felt like I need to screw the dining plan?
You would have changed it because you felt like you would have ordered the most expensive thing because you were on the dining plan.
Right. See? Yeah, it would have changed me more than I would have changed it. I guess is the best thing I can say about that. If I'm going to go and do what I'm going to do, I'm going to come out better. Let's just put it that way. Maybe it helps them. Maybe it helps them get more service in certain restaurants, get more certain restaurants more full that way. That's probably one of the reasons why they did it that way.
I think it was to just really, like, by giving people that too, it also sort of forced them to stay in the parks a little longer because they're staying for dinner or they're hanging out. Yeah, I wouldn't do it again because, to be honest, I want to go to a few sit-down restaurants, but I can make do if I'm going to Epcot and such on the quick services.
Real quick, since we're talking about dining, they're still just doing 60 days right now, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to change again. I kind of hope it doesn't, truthfully, because I do not want to have to be in the position of choosing something 180 days out again if I want to get it in some cases.
Yeah, I think that I hope they get rid of some of that.
I don't mind them having reservations, but 180 days is ridiculous.
Yeah, agreed. I like having the walk-ups, which I hope they keep. I think they are going to keep the walk-ups, too, where you can join a walk-up list.
I feel
like if you have a big party, though, the walk-ups never work out.
That's true. If you have more than 6, you can't get in.
I really don't mind the 60-day that they're doing right now because that's at least more reasonable because you've at least started thinking about it more when you're 2 months out of your trip. I don't really mind that so much. But like I said, 180 days was just, gosh, that was terrible.
Yeah. Because it's hard to know where I'm going to be in 6 months exactly.
Right.
Like,
I might not even
am I going to feel like eating this late or this early, or am I going to want to do after a full day at the park or whatever?
I mean, don't get me wrong. There wasn't a ton, but there were certain restaurants that if you did not get it the morning of 180 days, you weren't getting it.
Yeah. Or it was a very, very low chance you'd get it. And if you did, it would be like a few days before.
Yeah, you have to choose between eating like 9 at night in some cases on those restaurants.
So, not easy.
All right. So, I think that wraps us up for today, this morning, whatever time it is when you're listening to this. If you want to, remember, we do have a partner. If you want to talk to Jill Dilbeck about planning your next Disney vacation, that is always a great option. You can find out more about her on our website. And where is all of that information?
Travelingwiththemouse.com is our website. You can find links to that and more there. We also have an email address if you want to reach out to us. podcast@travelingwiththemouse.com.
We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at TWTM Podcast. We have a Spreadshirt store in which you can buy your exclusive Traveling with the Mouse merchandise. That is shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM Podcast. We do have a YouTube channel as well. if you want to check that out. We haven't had a ton of things added to it recently, but hopefully in the future we'll have a few more things to add there. So you could find that also on the website page that Adam mentioned, as far as links to that as well.
So, for John and Adam, this is Jason. This has been Traveling with the Mouse, and we hope you will join us on our next trip.
Okay, so there's Lightning Lane, so that should be what? Thunder Road, right?